Hello, beach friends. Now, if you had told me a couple years ago that I'd be able to walk out onto a beach and just pick up sand dollars, I would have thought you were bananas. But as it turns out, sometimes it's just that easy, and I absolutely love going beach combing. Look at this little shell, little hermit crab in there. So as I'm going beach combing, a lot of times I will run into all sorts of critters in addition to the seashells. So today I went on a shell tour and I'm looking for, well, seashells and critters and whatever else we might find. Now there's going to be certain things I haven't seen in a long time, certain things I get to see all the time, and then there's going to be a couple of sand dollars. If you happen to like sand dollars, this is going to be a great video for you, because there's a point where I literally can barely even turn around and there's even more sand dollars. It actually was really, really fun. However, let's not just jump right into it. Let me kind of step back. So it's early November, it's early in the morning, and I am out on a shell tour. And I will give you all the information so that you too can do something as fun as this. So we're gonna start out over on Dickman's Island. I did choose to come at low tide, which means that we probably are going to see a lot of live things. Now I'm going to start out on this little shell pile here, grab this calico scallop along with this one, but that's just the beginning. So if you're ready to see what else is out there for us today, let's go to the beach. Okay, after a quick little boat ride, we are here on Dickman's Island, and I can't wait to see what all is going to be here. Okay, so this is a rose petal talon that is just the pinkest rose petal talon I think I've ever seen. In addition to coming early and trying to get first crack at the shells, the lighting early in the morning is so pretty. Now, somebody had asked me about bubbles, so I'm going to try to pick up bubbles at every single beach I go to for at least a couple weeks, because I want to answer that question. Are bubbles rare? I do not believe they are at all. And here we have a sand dollar, also known as a keyhole urchin. Now, you notice I didn't keep that one. Well, I do get to go beach combing often, and so I'm a little choosy. And if it's a little broken, I probably won't keep it. The color doesn't bother me as much. If I find one that's kind of green or just off color, I still might collect that. This, perfect. So that is a 5-hole keyhole urchin, or you can just call it a keyhole urchin or a sand dollar. It's got many names. Same delightful treasure. Now this one, I think this one's looking pretty good. So from a keeper standpoint, again, I do want them to be round. Oh, looks like an angel wing. Now these are crazy because they're kind of delicate until they reach a certain size, and then they're actually quite hardy shells. This is a pretty hardy shell. It does need some TLC. It will need a little bit of bleach, a little bit of help to clean up. Oh, and I was checking out that sand dollar. I just want to make sure that that sand dollar has all its bits and pieces, because I only have so much room, and I'll show you that in a second. Gorgeous, gorgeous sand dollar. Now some of them are kind of still buried underneath the sand a little bit. That one's broken. I'm not going to collect that one. This one, and no, it's not broken. I know it's a little discolored, but as I've already kind of explained, that doesn't bother me as much. I'm one of those ones that I just don't like them to be broken. What about this one? Oh, it's got a little chip in it. I'm going to leave that one here. What about this one? And so I'm not the only one going shopping here. Me and all of the other people on the tour are literally doing the same thing. We're finding a pretty good sand dollar. Well, they're picking it up and then they're saying, oh, well, actually there's ones that are almost perfect. So I'm going to hold out for those. Perfect. So I'm holding out for those perfect and almost perfect sand dollars. Let's see, it's Could go either way with that one. There's a tiniest little chip in it, or little hole in it. Now, I do what I can to try to make sure that these all come back in one piece, and I will show you what I use. Yeah, it looks pretty good. This was crazy. I should have known. I actually have a container that if I think I'm coming here, I will pick. It's a big old plastic coffee container. So I'm looking for the whole sand dollars. Okay, those look good. In addition to these. All right, great. And I'm trying to make it over to wash them off, and I can't stop finding sand dollars. They're literally everywhere. So fun. Now, sadly, not all of the sand dollars that I collect make it home. Some of them are going to break. However, I do what I can to try to keep them intact by having some sort of hard container with me at all times. This one, I can get, a pretty good amount of sand dollars in there. So I'm going to try to find as many as I can that are the right size, that'll kind of fit in that container. And then that's going to be kind of it, because that's all I have. That's all the room that I have. So that's why I'm kind of passing up ones that aren't, they might have a little piece missing. They might be a little chipped, because I only have so much room in the little container. Dare I say I was a little ill-prepared. I could have had a larger container, but then again, I'm lugging that around the whole time. So I guess it's really just a matter of what your tolerance is. My tolerance is about that many sand dollars. So that's all I'm going to get today. So this is a hinged giant Atlantic cockle. I love when they have a really pretty interior, like cranberry color. It's got some slime on there. So I just wanted to make sure that I can kind of remove that slime. And yes, the slime was removable. So I have myself a lovely hinged giant Atlantic cockle. Now this little common auger has a little hermit crab in it, and when you're shelling by the water, I'm always quite careful to check those shells to make sure there's no hitchhikers. Yep, there's a little shell with a little critter in there. And is this the one? There is one where the crab, oh, look at those little weird back legs. And they're really not kind of back legs, because wait, do you see how far this, it almost looked like a dragon. This thing came out of its shell so far. Careful there, buddy. And then it flipped back in. So yeah, very long hermit crab. All right, we'll leave you here. Very long hermit crab. Okay, dark seraph. And this very beautiful beaded kind of shell. Very common, still real pretty. And empty. I do like a good empty shell. I'm gonna check this auger. Again, because it's a little squishy. If I'm by the water's edge, gotta be careful about the hermit crabs and the little creatures that might be in these shells. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. No critters. Excellent. So I'm going to just grab onto those couple of common augers and that dark seraph. Okay, our next shell of interest is a common nutmeg. This is also kind of a beaded shell. The nutmegs, chestnut turbans, the dark seraphs kind of have that pattern. Okay, here is another common auger. Make sure that that's empty. I dropped my fighting conch. Good opportunity for tinies for sure. Oh, what do we have here? So that little beauty is a Tampa turrid. Ironically, the only place I seem to kind of find the Tampa turrids are the furthest beaches I go from Tampa, down here in the 10,000 Islands. Ironic, I know. Oh, and this beautiful little top snail. I was wondering if it could possibly be, there's a couple top snails I've found, I believe it was called a beautiful top snail. There's also a sculptured top snail. This one just happens to kind of be like a juvenile and very, very colorful. So that is a jujube top snail, just the quote unquote regular one. Still really pretty. So I had mentioned earlier the tide is very low. It is negative low. It is out there. Yeah, it is negative 0.36 and it's only 61 degrees out right now. So it was actually pretty darn chilly just a little while ago, but now that the sun's coming out, it's not quite as bad. Or as cold, I should say. It's not bad at all. So looks like I kind of got a hankering to pick up a bunch of those jingle shells. So apparently this just happened to be a spot, and it happens probably more than I know, because the jingles are not necessarily uncommon. So they're there, you know, they're cool. I pick them up sometimes, but I don't know. There just happened to be such a great concentration of them that I decided to just give it, you know, give it an old 45-second comb of the beach and see how many jingles we can come up with. Yeah, quite a few in that little area. And they'll be black, white, gray. These obviously happen to be all on that light color. Speaking of color, so this is called a colorful moon snail. And oh, it's one of my favorites. Oh, it's got a little beach stuff underneath it, but the color is really gorgeous. So another very lovely, colorful moon snail. Right, back in the water. Look at this now. Oh, I missed it. Let's see if I can. A tusk shell. Tusk shell. And because it looks like a tusk. I know, quite a stretch there. So it's a little open on the one side. Some of the tusk shells are actually open on both sides, but that particular one just looks like a little baby tusk, and it looks very Wentel trappy. But I know, that's not a Wentel trap. That is a fly speck cerith. And some of you eagle-eyed people spied that Wentel trap I missed last week. That is a Gulf oyster drill. But be on the lookout. You never know what else is lurking behind in these shots here. So if you see a shell I missed, by all means, let me know. We're going to grab that grody piece of garbage, get that off the beach. Oh, hello, sea star. There's actually kind of a lot going on here. So we have a half-naked pen shell up there. We have a sawtooth pen shell down here. But that short-spined sea urchin, that's what I kind of want to take a little bit of a closer look at. Oh, it's so pretty. Now, I'm grabbing the sand because I've heard the oils from your skin can damage the animals. I do not know whether or not that is true, so just because I'll just grab a little sand while I'm transporting this little critter. I don't know. I don't know whether or not that's true or not. If you have an opinion on that, by all means, leave me a comment below. All right, we have another top snail. So that other one I was going bananas over with earlier, this one, it's the same shell. It's shaped a little different, colors a little different, but that's kind of what makes it fun with these shells. No two are exactly the same. They have the same general shape. That is a lettered olive. And I can't quite tell if it's empty because the critter, if it's alive, and because it's very soft and are a lot of live things here, so I'm going to want to wash that out to confirm. So I will hold on to that banded tulip, but we're going to need to do a quick check on that lettered olive. Survey says empty. There's no critter in there. So that is a collectible seashell. That is also quite lovely. Empty. Awesome. So that is a Florida fighting conch. I have quite a weakness for those. If you've watched me, you know. I kind of have a thing for those shells. Well, I kind of have a thing for shells in general, frankly. Right, that is another lettered olive. Not that one though. I can tell. That one I can tell. That one is not going to pass the test. The really shiny olives, so that's a little auger. Again, I'm trying to check, see if there's anything in there. The really, really shiny olives will feel like you're rubbing your finger on a glass, whereas the ones that aren't as pristine, it'll feel more like stoneware. So there is a difference of these. You can kind of feel it, the olives. That is a, you know, it's an okay Florida cone. I'm going to leave the okay cone here in case somebody needs to add one of those to their collection. However, that's a pretty nice looking lightning whelk, so I'll probably hold on to that. Nice looking little lightning whelk. Scanning. All right, that big lump thing, that was like seaweed. Oh, here we have an apple murex. But you know what's kind of cool is the encrusting bryozoans that are on it. So that it's also called sea lace. So that kind of texture on the shell. Somebody else had pointed out to me that those are animals. That's what's left of a colony of animals. So they're bryozoans. I am not a marine biologist. I am just a shell enthusiast. So I don't want to give you misinformation about those animals, but that sea lace is from an animal. Kind of neat. And another one of those beaded common nutmegs. Oh, just wanted to check that out real quick. Horse conch is broken. Womp womp. What about this little itty bitty thing? All right. You little itty bitty shell are cute. I'll go ahead and hold on to you. Another nutmeg? Well, all right. I'll take that. And another lettered olive. Well, gotta give it the shine test. Are you dealing with glass or stoneware? Oh, it looks like glass to me. That's going to be a collectible one. And what are you? Yeah, you're probably a Gulf oyster drill just because of those brown little markings on it. You are a banded tulip. And you're probably going to stay here. Yeah. Yep. Not quite as pristine along with this pear whelk. Another auger. Make sure. Oh man, that's really pretty. Yep. Okay, another. Oh dear, not that. What about this? Yeah, that one's okay. Actually changed my mind. Yeah. So I hope it doesn't drive y'all too crazy. I just don't want to make too much work for myself. Yep, not a keeper. So I try to just keep kind of like the better specimen shells. And then I just kind of sell them on Etsy. That's one of the many things that I do with all these seashells. Oh, another lightning whelk. And another. Now that one, the one I'm holding right now, is very, very orange. Like the color on that. And I'm trying to show you to compare it. Like that one's very white as a base, and that one in the middle is just very, very orange. So that comparison didn't work out so well. We'll take another look at that at the very, very end of the video. But two more awesome looking lightning whelks. Ooh, I see it. How colorful are you, colorful moon snail? You're pretty good. Yeah, well, you're pretty slippery, but pretty good. Yeah, you'll do. So that is another member of the moon snail family. That is a colorful moon snail. Oh, I see a couple of things. All right, so let's take care of this crown conch first. Is there color? Yeah, there's a little bit of color under that white. So that's a shell I likely will dip in acid. Here we have a very purple interior, but a hinged spiny jewel box. Oh, you got a nice little horn there. Awesome. So I do like the spiky shells, colorful shells, smooth shells, shiny shells. That is another real pretty lightning whelk. That's where they get their name, from those zigzags on the juvenile shells. Gorgeous. All right, well, oh, look how sweet. So this darling little sand dollar, luckily, yeah, I definitely can sneak you in there. There is definitely room for you in my little delicates container. Now this, I did take off the island, but I neglected it to take it off the boat and bring it home and weigh it. So I did get that off the island, and I just don't know how much that really contributed to all the garbage I take off the beach. Now look at this. So the waves came up, came down, and just left these awesome seashells. One happens to be just a little bit more awesome than the others, in my humble opinion. Look at that. So that is also a moon snail. However, we call that a shark eye. Look at how glossy. So it is naturally glossy. That's what I'm trying to show you. So that is a shark eye moon snail. Absolutely gorgeous. Yep, super happy with that beauty. Oh, that's a beauty too, but you know what? Those beautiful shells, yeah, usually there's a critter in there. The critter is not quite done. The critter takes very good care of its shell, so it will be very beautiful, although I guess the crown conchs, those are shells, get pretty furry. Anyway, I cannot collect that. The animal is not done making its shell. What about... Nope, there's an animal in that as well. So another Florida fighting conch. Oh, all right, friend. All right, go ahead. Do your snail thing. And this was a little bit of a heartbreaker for me because I really, really, really want that shell. I think it's albino, but there's a critter in it. And I go by a very, very strict first come, first serve rule. And if it is alive, it does not come off the beach. So that shell is going to need to stay here along with that adorable little crab. All right, buddy, take care of that shell. It's a good one. It's a good one. Now, I thought it might be helpful because this time of year it can get cold. Like, what did I bring? What did I wear? So I'm wearing athletic leggings with swim trunks over them, socks and shoes. So it's still warm enough where I can go in the water. I can walk in the water. And then I just layered up with long sleeve shirts in layers and then a windbreaker on top. So if I got warm, you could kind of, you know, peel everything off. So this time of year, you definitely want to go in layers. Now, as far as the stuff I brought with me, well, I do have my magical backpack and my shell bag and my delicates container. So that's it. Now, as winter marches on and it gets colder, I am going to need to wear boots, and I'll let you in on all that information as well. And I just want to, at this point, give a huge thank you to my Patreons who help me pay to go on tours like this and do the things that I do. So please know I am so, so grateful for you. Thank you so very much for supporting me. Now at this point, we're gonna wrap up Dickman's because we have another island to get to. I feel like I've picked up what I can over here, including all of those amazing sand dollars. And just like this, look at that. We went right from there, Dickman's, over to here, Kais Island. So this is where we're going to spend the rest of our time looking for more treasures. And if you do go on one of these tours, and especially if you think you're going to be going to Kais Island, please wear sturdy shoes. I stub my feet multiple times when I go to Kais Island. Very pretty Florida cone. Oh, it's a little bit beat up, but that's just how those Florida cones roll. They are rarely perfect. And we don't need perfect. We just need like pretty good, right? Oh, yeah. Well, that is a piece of an alphabet cone. Those are always quite desired. That is a really nice looking worm snout. What are you? Little Gulf oyster drill, yeah. So all these shells at this point are really just gravy. I mean, I legitimately was looking for shells over at Dickman's for a couple of hours. Now, at this point, though, I think I'm going to be quiet and let you all finally enjoy some beach time. All right, I'm still at it. This is a little true tulip, just a little baby one. So the true tulips, they get bigger, they're a little more colorful. They frankly are a little more exciting than the banded tulips. Ooh, is that albino? I know that the lace murex come in white. That looks very white. So I'm thinking that might be an albino lace murex. Beautiful. Speaking of albinos, now I'm trying because I still haven't found my albino fighting conch. And when I keep seeing pictures of them, they do have this periostracum on it. That is not albino. I think it's going to be kind of close. So we're going to clean that up at the very end. We'll take another look at that almost albino awesome shell. Did you see the nutmeg? So I'm going to pick up, I'm kind of teasing you. I picked up this periwinkle. So that is a mangrove periwinkle. And then there's the nutmeg. There it is. It's kind of buried in those shells. Yeah. It's crazy sometimes how these shells are positioned. It's like somebody came through and just kind of sprinkled them on top for me so I can just kind of pick through the top of these piles. So it's a little broken. That's a fighting conch. That is a little paper fig. I get a hold of that. Oh, cute little tiny thing. And another little bubble. So a couple of cute tiny shells. Oh, look at that calico scallop. I just thought that the pattern on it was particularly lovely. And I keep wanting to bring it closer to the camera, which makes it blurry. Sorry about that. An angel wing. Unlike the one we found at the beginning of the video, that big one with all that stuff on it, that's nice and clean. And you will typically find them up in the high rack line. Look at that. All right, colorful moon snail. Yep. You're coming home with me. Now, this is a bucket list shell. That is a rose murex. It's been hanging around here for a while, but I am going to clean that up. So at the end of the video, let's take a look at that shell as well. So this is what Kais Island looks like. The tide is probably coming in, and a lot of times some of that area down there is actually covered with water. But Kais is it's just a really special, beautiful island. So look at that. So I wanted to show you that sharp ribbed drill. Look at the color on that. So that's a sharp ribbed drill. I thought that was kind of fun. Got great color on it. Don't typically find them in that good of a condition. Nice looking little shell. And then, all right, so that is very exciting. It is a juvenile fighting conch, but not quite as exciting as this, frankly. That is a little alphabet cone. I know it's tiny little thing, but those are cute as well. So yay, got an alphabet cone. It's tiny, but it's mighty. That is another one of those Tampa turrids. Go figure. Again, down here. I wonder if anyone who shells up in Tampa, do you find them up there? Because I do find a couple of them down here. That is a tinted cantharus. And if those are in good condition, those are such beautiful shells. I'm coming around to those tinted cantharus shells. Oh, another little baby. So another little tiny alphabet cone to add to my little collection. Fantastic. And the tinies are cute too. It took me a while to appreciate the tinies, but I eventually came around. So at this point, I'm really talking about winding down. I've already done some pretty serious damage over in Dickman's with all those sand dollars. I've been here on Kais for a little while. How did I get here? Well, I got here with Allie from SWFL Shell Guide. And when you go on her tours, you never know. I can pop on at any time. And I've done a couple of these tours. I think Allie's the best. You know what she's doing right now? She's looking for seashells. The tour is over and she is still looking for seashells because she gives away everything that she finds while while we're all out looking for seashells. That is yet another one of those Tampa turrids, not in as good a condition as some of those other ones. And yes, it looks very Wentel trap-y. However, 0 Wentel traps for me this week once again, but I did get an imposter. That's that fly speck seraph. I'm starting to appreciate that. If you're in good shape, fly speck seraph, you're not so bad. You're not so bad. All right, is Kais going to give me one last treasure? Yep, another one of those Tampa turrids. Okay, that's cool. Thank you so much. I haven't seen any in a while, and I got myself a couple of those today. Well, that was fun. So thanks, Dickmans. Thanks, Kais. Now, I did take, in addition to a couple of seashells, a little bit of garbage off the beach. So 1.25 ounces, which means in total, I've taken a little over 41 pounds of garbage. That big lump of green junk, that would have brought my total higher. But as long as it's off the beach, that's really the point. All right, let's take a look at some of the more fun things I did remove off the beach. So actually, a whole bunch of those sand dollars survived, including that little tiny one. You got 2 of those angel wings, got a couple of those worm snails, some rose petal talons, a bunch of those banded tulips, tinies, like all sorts of them in my little beach bowl there. And then I did get a giant Atlantic cockle that is hinged, some of those Jingles, an albino prickly cockle, tons of top snails, that pear whelks, some broadrib carditas, the lightning whelks, a lot of those real pretty looking calico scallops, some spiny jewel boxes that were kind of spiny, some sunray Venus clams, some lettered olives. We did get some augers, sereths, looks like 2 rib cantharus, a mauve mouth drill, the lace murex, small and on the larger side, some calico clams, apple murex, Florida fighting conchs. What else? Oh, the colorful moon snails, which I do like so very much. Bunch of those common nutmegs, and then we're kind of moving into my favorite stuff, were those tinies, the crown conch, the 2 little alphabet cones, that sharp rib drill, the rose murex, that tiny little top snail, got a couple periwinkles. So it was a great day to be out there. There was a bunch of fabulous treasures. Now let's talk about that fighting conch that I thought was going to be pretty cool. Now I did know it was an albino, but I thought it was going to clean up pretty good. So I soaked it in bleach. Look how pretty. So that's the natural shine to that shell. And it's just kind of naturally like white and tan. I love that little kiss of purple on it. I know, I'm nuts. I love that shell. So the rose murex, that was another shell that I wanted to clean up and show you. So this one, we're going to look at it in 2 different stages. The first thing I did was soak it in bleach. Isn't that pretty? So it's just kind of this muted pink color, I would assume, hence the name rose murex. So I thought that was pretty cool, but I'm like, I wonder what'll happen if I put it in acid. So I went ahead and did that too. So it's still kind of pink. And again, let's take a look at what that looked in the beginning. It was kind of crusty, kind of like a brownish. And then once I did the bleach and then the acid, you're left with this. Now, quickly, the acid I use is called Acid Magic. On Amazon, it's $21.65. I do have a link in the description box below if you want to pick some up from there. Or maybe you don't feel like waiting. Head on over to Ace Hardware because they sell it over there too. At least some of them do. So that was Dickmans and Kais, and that was pretty awesome. Now, I did take advantage of the low tide, and I went out again the very next day to my favorite beach. So next week we'll be going to Fort Myers Beach. Until then, I hope you have yourself a great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday.